All right, welcome back, fifth graders, Module 2, Lesson 4. And after this, you're going to be able to change numerical expressions, that's like the problems, into unit form using mental strategy. So we're going to kind of use some tricks or shortcuts to kind of do some mental math. So let's get started. All right, so for number 1, they want us to circle each expression that is not equivalent or not equal to the expression in bold or the problem in bold. So right here we have 16 times 9, or sorry, 16 times 29. That's also like saying 16 29s. So let's look at the first one, 29 16s. That's like saying 29 times 16. So flipping the order will still give us the same answer. So those are equivalent. The next one, 16 times parentheses 30 minus 1. So that's saying 16 times 29. That's the same thing. The next one is 15 minus 1 times 29. So that's 14 times 29. So that is not equivalent. So we're going to circle that one. And the final one, 10 times 29, that's like saying 10 29s. And then we're going to take away 6 29s, or 6 times 29. So 10 29s, take away 6 29s would be 4 29s, or it would be 4 times 29. And so that's not equivalent. So 1b, the first one, we have 38 plus 40 times 38 plus 5. So if we quickly just added the 38 plus the 40, that would give us 78. And then if we added the 38 plus the 5, that would give us 43. And so you can see that 78 times 43 is not anything like this. So this one will not be equivalent, would not give us the same answer. Now this next one, we have 38 times 40. So that's like saying 38 40s plus 38 5s. And so since the 38s are the same, we're just going to add the 40 and the 5 together. So this turns out to be 38 times 45. And that would be equivalent. All right, next one, we had 45 times 40 plus 2, so that would be 45 times 42, and that would not be equivalent. And the last one is 45 38ths, or if we wrote that out as a multiplication expression, that would be 45 38. And so that is the reverse. The numbers are swapped around, so that would give us the same answer, so those are equivalent. So let's move on to number 2. We're going to be solving using mental math. They want us to draw a tape diagram, and they want us to fill in the blanks to show our thinking. The first one is kind of partially done for us, so we're actually going to finish it off. So notice that we have 19 times 25. Here's our numerical expression. They want us to change it into unit form. So how many 25s do we have? Well, we have 19 25s. Now with the mental math, what we kind of want to do is play around with numbers. And let's say, you know what if I raise this up to be 20 25s, or 20 times 25? And then I found the answer, and then I could take away a 25 to show 19 25s. So the tape diagram shows you that there is 20, and notice that this box represents numbers 1 through 18, but each box is a 25, and we're going all the way up to 20. So we have 20 25s, and then the X represents taking away a 25, so that we would find out what 19 25s are. So it kind of might sound a little confusing, but once we get into seeing patterns, you'll say, oh, this is pretty cool, this is pretty easy. So let's think. We started off with 20 25s in our tape diagram, and then we're going to take away one 25 to do some mental math. Well, 20 25s is the same thing as saying 20 times 25. And then we're going to take away 1 25 to be our answer for 19 25s. So let's think of, well, if you take 2 and you multiply it by 25, 2 times 25 would be 50. So 20 times 25 would be 500. And then you're going to take away 1 times 25, and that's going to be 25. And so when you take away 25 from 500, you're going to have 475. The next one is 24 times 11. And they want to know, well, how many 24s do you have? So actually, we can kind of rewrite this to represent 11 times 24. How many 24s do we have? Well, we have 11 24s. And let's think about having, you know what? 11 is close to 10. So if we actually figured out what 10 times 24 is, then we can add just one more 24 to get the answer. So a tape diagram would look like this, and we're going to represent all 11 24s. So we're going to have 11 boxes, but we're not going to do all 11. We're going to do maybe a few, maybe 1, 2, 3, ... and then 10, and then 11. Now they're all 24s. And so what we're going to do right here, we're first going to find what 10 24s are. And then once we do that, we're going to add just one more 24 for the 11th one. So let's think, how many 24s are we going to find first? We're going to find 10 24s first. And then we're just going to add one more 24 to get our answer for 11 24s. So 10 24s is 10 times 24. And then 1 24 is 1 times 24. Now if we did 10 times 24, we can actually just do 1 times 24. That would be 24. And then 10 times 24 would be 240. Plus 1 times 24 is 24. And so now we're going to add 240 plus 24, and that would give us 264. All right, 1C, 79 times 14. They want to know how many 14s do we have. Well, we have 79. Now, we can kind of go up to 80 and figure out what is 80 times 14. And then when we figure that out, take away 114 for 79 14. So our tape diagram is going to be a long one. We're going to show 80 boxes, but we're not going to do all 80. We're just going to do a shortcut method. 1, 2, 3, ... And then we'll do 79, and then we'll do 80. Each box has the number 14 in it, because we have 80 14s, but we're going to find out what 80 14s is. And then once we have the answer, we're going to take away a 14, and that will give us the answer for 79 14s, or 79 times 14. All right, so how many 14s did we draw all together? Well, we did 80 14s, and we're going to take away a 14. So 80 14s is 8 times 14, minus 114 is 1 times 14. Now, 8 times 14, some of you are like, I don't know that off the top of my head. Neither do I, so I'm going to do a little side math. I'm going to go ahead and do 8 times 14. 8 times 4 is 32. Carry my 3, bring down my 2. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 3 more is 11. So we have 112. That's for 8 times 14. We want to know what 80 times 14 is, so it's going to be 1,120. And then we're going to take away a 14. And so now we're going to subtract 1,120, take away 14. So some subtraction, 0 minus 4 we can't do. We're going to go to the 2, and we're going to borrow 1 from it, and we're going to turn that 0 into a 10. 10 minus 4 is 6. 1 minus 1 is 0. And then 1 minus nothing is nothing. And then 1 minus nothing is nothing. So we get 1,106. So on 1D, we're going to skip the tape diagram and go straight into just the more of the breaking down, the thinking steps. So we have 21 times 75. They want to know how many 75s do we have. Well, we have 21 75s. Now what we're going to do is we're going to figure out what 20 75s is first, and then we're going to add a 175 to it to find out 21 75s. So that's how we're going to break it up, 20 plus 1. So how many 75s do we have first? We're going to have 20 75s, and then we're going to add one more 75 to get the final answer. 20 75 is 20 times 75. 175 is 1 times 75. 2 times 75, some of you might not, some of you know it, some of you might not know it. So you have two choices. You could add it together like this, or you can multiply it by 2. You should be getting 150, and that's going to be 150, and then for 20 75, that's going to be 1,500. And then we're going to add a 75 to it. So that would be 1,575. All right, for number 3, they want us to define, I'll do it in green, the unit in word form and then complete the sequence of problems as done in the lesson. So we're just going to skip doing the tape diagram and kind of go into more of the mental strategies that we did in the previous 2 problems. So we have 19 times 15, so they want to know 19 what? What's the unit? Well, it's going to be 19 15s, so we're going to write 15s out. And then think of, okay, well, if I go up to 20 15s and figure what that is, and then take away a 15, that would give me the answer for 19 15s. So we have 20 15s. And then we'll take away 1 15. So that would be 20 times 15. And that would be take away 1 15. So that'd be 1 times 15. So 2 times 15, that's 30. So 20 times 15 would be 300. And then you're going to take away 15. Now I'm going to show you a shortcut. Some of you might know it from your previous grades. Others, it might be brand new to you. Now, right now you can see these 2 zeros. I'm going to have to do some borrowing. But what if I can magically do this problem without borrowing? Well, you can. Here's what you're going to do. You want to make those zeros become big numbers like 9s. So let's take 1 away from 300 and let's make it 299. And let's take 1 away from 15 to make it 14. You're going to get the same answer, even though the problems are different. You're going to get the same difference or the same answer because technically 30 away from 15 is the same distance from 299 from 14. So now I don't really have to do any borrowing. 9 minus 4 is 5. 9 minus 1 is 8. And 2 minus nothing is 2. So 285. Did no borrowing at all. I just kind of played around with my numbers and quickly found a little quick shortcut. 3b, how many 14s, 14 times 15. So how many 14s do we have? We have 14 15s. So we're going to write 15s again. This time we're going to break up 14. We're going to break it up to do 10 times 15, and then we'll do the 4 times 15. So think we're going to do 10 15s, and we're going to plus 4 15s. So 10 times what? It's going to be 15, and then plus 4 times what is going to be 15. 10 times 15. Hopefully you know that 1 times 15 is 15 and add that 0, so 150. And then 4 times 15s. Some of you might do some quick multiplication. Nothing bad about doing that. Some of you might know it in your head. And that would give you 60. And then 60 plus 150 would give you 210. Now some will say, well, how did you quickly get 210 without stacking them and adding them together? Here's what I did in my head. I thought of 150 plus 60. I knew that if I added one more 50 to 150, that would be 200. So I took away 50 from here and left a 10, and I changed 150 and I added a 50 to get 200, and then I just quickly did 200 plus 10 to get 210. So try to find those shortcuts when you're doing some mental math, and it's really, really easy and valuable to, instead of having to do some stacking and adding them up together and having to regroup and unbundle and all that fun stuff. So look out for those easy shortcuts. All right, C, we have 25 times 12. They want to know, well, how many 12s do you have? 12s of what? So think of flipping the 12 and putting it first, where you have 12 25s. So let's write in unit form 25s. And think of 12 as being broken up by 10 and 2, because 10 times 25 should be easy. So we can think of, okay, we have 10 25s. And do the best you can of writing this in. And I'm on an iPad, so it is kind of difficult to write with a stylus sometimes. So I have 10 25s first, and I'm going to add 2 25s to figure out what 12 25s is. 10 times what? Well, it's going to be 25, plus 2 times what is going to be 25. 10 25, that would be 250. And then 2 times 25, think of money. You have 2 quarters, that's going to give you 50 cents, and so you would get the answer of 300. And let's go ahead and do D. We have 18 times 17. And so they want to know 18, you have 18 of what? Well, you have 18 17s. And so a good way of thinking of it as we could break it up between 8 and 10, but looking down here, they want us to go up to 20 and then take away 2 17s. So we're going to be taking 20 17s and then taking away 2 17s. So you have 20 17s, 20 times 17, take away 2 17, or 2 times 17. All right, so think of 20 or 2 times 17. That would be like 17 plus 17. Hopefully you would know it's going to be 34. So you have 34, but you're doing 20 17, so that's going to be 340. And you're going to take away 2 17s, or 2 times 17, which we already figured out was 34. And here's another way to do some other math strategies of mental math. If you had 340 and you had to take away 34, you could actually go first and say, okay, 340, let's take away the 30 first. What would I get? That's quickly, you would get 310. After you did that, you would take away the 4 next. And so 310, just count down from 310 and then 4 times, and that would give you 306. So let's do number 5. Number 5 says solve mentally. So kind of using the strategies that we've been doing in the previous problems, and let's do 101 times 15. Now, an easy one would be, okay, you know what? Let's just start with 100 times 15. And once I got the answer, what would I do to figure out what 101 times 15 is? Well, all I would do is once I got this answer right here, I would then go ahead and add another 15, or 1 times 15, to get my answer. So mentally, let's think of 100 times 15. That's going to be 15 with 2 zeros, so 1,500. Add 15 to it, so that's going to be 1,515. Pretty easy when we did some mental strategies to figure out that complex multiplication problem. Let's look at B. We have 18 times 99. So what I would do here is I would take that 99 and make it 100. So I would say, okay, I'm going to do 100 times 18, and I'm turning the numbers in different orders, but guess what? I'm going to get the same answer again. And I'm going to then take away 118 to figure out what 99 18s are, or 99 times 18, or 18 times 99, either way. So mentally, this is 100 times 18, so that would be 1,800. And then you would take away an 18. So remember this trick that I showed you, 1,800, and we're taking away an 18. Now, instead of having to go and borrow, we can actually take 1 away from 1,800. That would be 1,799. And then take away 1 from 18. That would be 17. And now we subtract. Now we don't have to borrow at all. We can go 9 minus 7 is 2. 9 minus 1 is 8. 7 minus nothing is 7. And 1 minus nothing is 1, sorry. So you have 1,782. And let's drop down to number 7. Juan delivers 174 newspapers every day. Edward delivers 126 more newspapers each day than Juan. So Edward delivers more. They want us to write an expression, write the problem, don't even solve, but write the problem to show how many newspapers Edward would deliver in 29 days. So we're only talking about Edward. Now, did Edward only deliver 126 papers each day? No, he actually delivered 126 more newspapers than Juan. So that means we have to take what Juan delivers, which is 174, and we have to add that to the 126 that Edward does more. So we would have to add those numbers up to figure out how many papers Edward delivers each day. And then they want us to figure out, okay, now what happens when he delivers in 29 days. So we'll take that sum and then we'll multiply it by 29. So the second part of the problem is that they want us to use mental math to solve, and they want us to show our thinking. All right, so let's quickly figure out what 174 plus 126 is. 174 plus 126, that looks like 6 plus 4 is 10, and then 7 plus 2 is 9, plus 1 more is 10, and then 3. So we have 300. So we have 300 times 29. So we're going to do mental math. And so let's actually say, okay, well, 29 is close to 30. So why don't we do 300 times 30, and then we'll take away a 300 times 1. We'll take away 1 300 to get the answer for 29 times 300. So we have 300 times 30. So I'm going to take my 3 times 3. That's 9. And that means 30 times 30 times 300 would mean add those 3 zeros. So then you have 9,000. And you're going to take away 300, because 300 times 1 is 300. And so now we have 9,000 take away 300. And so I am going to do that trick again to eliminate some of the borrowing up on top. So I'm going to take 1 away from 9,000. That's going to give me 8,999. And I'm going to take away 1 from 300, that's going to give me 299. And so now I can quickly subtract without borrowing 0, 0, 7, 8. And so I have 8,700 as my final answer using mental math. And that concludes lesson 4 for module 2. Hopefully you can use some of these mental strategies when you start doing our multiplication problems when we get into the next couple lessons. All right, I'll see you in the next one.